along to AFTV. Merry Christmas to one and all. We are here to preview the match Arsenal versus Brighton of Hove Albion. Here to preview it with me, I've got Stricto. Merry Christmas to you, bro.
Yes, Merry Christmas, my
Big
bro.
up. And Dan Potts, Merry Christmas to you. And a very festive Christmas jumper.
Be done. You got to make the effort. You know what I mean? You've made some effort. Stricto's turned up. You know what I mean? He's turned up at least.
I'm here.
He did have a Joe Pesci hat on. I don't know where that's gone now. Do you know what I'm saying? He was trying to do his best rendition of Home Alone. I think,
Now, yeah, we was asking him before we started this, right? Like, when you come to games, you always wear that sort of maroon hoodie.
Yeah.
And then that jacket.
Yeah.
And you said that's because you wear that for good luck.
Yeah.
But we ain't won the league for 3 years, bro. You know what I mean? So,
Right, we're not relegated either, so.
maybe in 2026 you maybe need to switch that up, man.
We'll see.
You've not been wearing that since 2004, have you? Remember the last one? Superstitious. I mean, there's superstitious and there's that, bro.
But anyway, listen, Merry Christmas. So far, so good. Of course, the other night we went through in the Carabao Cup right here at the Emirates Stadium on penalties. It's a 1-1 draw at the end of the game, but we went through on penalties. So through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. As it stands, top of the league in the Premier League, top of the league in the Champions League. But we are moving into a very busy Christmas period. 2 games at home here, Brighton and then Aston Villa. 2 games last season that didn't go our way. Both of them ended in draws. And guys, this is a big game. And let me just, before I get into it, I just want to read you some stats.
Yeah.
Around this game with Brighton, because a lot of people look on this game and think Brighton at home, yeah, we should be all right. You know what I mean? I think they're 9th in the table. Like, yeah, standards. You know, Arsenal's supposed to win this. Let me just read you this. Arsenal have won. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Arsenal have won just 3 of their 8 Premier League games at home against Brighton. That's a 38% win rate. We've drawn 2 and lost 3. We've only got a lower win rate against Wimbledon, 25%, and Liverpool, 36%, among the sides that they've faced 5 times
crazy.
plus. That's our home record against Brighton. It's not good. Brighton are winners in their last 4 Premier League games against Arsenal, though. Drawn 2, lost 2. Though they did come from behind to draw 1-1 in both meetings last season.
Yeah.
All 3 of Arsenal's Premier League home wins against Brighton have been by 2-0 scoreline. That was in 2017, 2021 and 2023. Failing to win any of their 5 against them at the Emirates in which they've conceded. Those, again, drawn 2, lost 3. That shows you that Brighton have been a bit of a bogey team for us. Last season, both games against Brighton ended in a draw. Now, draws for Arsenal at this stage of the season, when we're being chased down by Manchester City, include as well Aston Villa in that, wouldn't be good. Arsenal need to win this game. Are you surprised by that record against Brighton?
Hey, Scrooge, are you? What was your festive like? Come on, man.
Well, listen, we got to lay
festive spirit. I want to do
festive
positive.
spirit, but
No,
we got to lay the facts down. You know what I mean?
you're
Because a
right.
lot of people are looking at this game and thinking easy win.
Yeah.
But those stats show you that it's a tricky game for us.
It is a tricky game, and every game is. Let's be real, when you're in a title race. But one thing I will agree with you in, Rob, is that draws kill you in title races. They actually are like losses. Like, you're better off winning a game and losing a game than drawing 2 in a row, right? You get more points. So when it comes to that, we need to take 3 points here. And you've got to win your home games. You've got to make this place a fortress. When you're in a title race, people need to be scared of coming here. And I want Brighton to be scared of coming here. And they haven't been in the last few years. You've just said the stats there.
They fancied it.
They fancied it. Last year, we all know what happened with Declan Rice. Yeah, one of the first games of the season. Kicked the ball away, went down to 10, we ended up drawing the game. And I don't want to be seeing a game like that. You know, Brighton have been very inconsistent this year. Yeah, they've been very similar to what some of the teams around them. You don't know what you're going to get with Brighton. You're going to get a Brighton that turns up, or you're going to get a Brighton that you can beat. So I think what we've got to do now is concentrate on our game and concentrate on what we're doing. I know it's good to look at how you've done previously, but that was in the past. It was a different Arsenal, definitely a different Brighton as well. They've lost some players. So let's hope that we can get there and put in a performance, because that's what I wanted to see. We're starting to see some chances created in the last couple of games. I need to see them buried now.
Yeah, looking at Brighton again, just taking a look at some of their, look at their last 5 games. They got a draw last weekend, 0-0 at home against Sunderland. Away at Liverpool, were beaten 2-0. Drew 1-1 against West Ham at home. Lost in that game at home against Villa. They were 2-0 up, ended up losing that game by 4-3. And they won. I think this is their last victory was when they won a few weeks ago at Nottingham Forest. That was an away win. They beat Nottingham Forest by 2-0. So what that shows you is they've not really been on any form recently. As I said, drew last week at home. But is this a good time to play Brighton?
You know what, Robbie? I hate those stats you're just giving out.
They're facts.
They're facts. And the reason why I hate them is that every team can be so crap, and then they step into town, and all of a sudden they want to play the best football, want to be more organised, want to try new things that seem to work. Players that haven't scored in 1,000 games, all of a sudden now decide that they are R9, scoring all types of goals. We've seen it, you know what I'm saying? So when I'm hearing them stats, on paper it looks good for us because it shows inconsistency from them, especially like drawing with West Ham. Everyone beats West Ham this season. And they've struggled with them. But I hate them stats because the run we're in now, you imagine the game against Wolves, how nervous we was in that game. And Brighton are going to come here, again, sort of similar to Wolves with nothing to really play for. I know they're probably chasing a European place, but there's no pressure on them right now. Like the results haven't been going their way. So for them, it's almost a free hit. And we struggle with teams that come here with that mentality, because they sort of sit back and then they also press and, the psychological side of the game. And I think that's where I feel we're going to struggle in this game. But if there's one thing I have learned this season from this team is we've wrote a lot of wrongs from last season. You imagine we lost to Newcastle last season at St James's Park. We fixed that. Drew with Fulham last season. We beat them. We fixed that. There's a couple other games that was like that.
Last week against Everton, drew with them last year as well. Fixed that.
We'll fix that. So again, that's positive on our side. So hopefully I want to see that mentality, especially at this stage of the season, because it is about mentality right now. It's not even just about talent and what we've got, because we've got talent. Everyone can play. But the difference that separates the Man Cities from the Arsenal has always been mentality. They know what they have to do. We know we have to do, but we don't often seem to do it. So if we can fix that starting of this game against Brighton, then it bodes well for us.
Yeah, a couple of things for Arsenal to fix. When you look at the last few games, number one is conceding late goals. Mm-hmm. We conceded a late goal during the week in the Carabao Cup. We conceded a late goal against Wolves here, which nearly cost us. We've actually, for quite a few games, been conceding late goals.
Sunderland
the Sunderland one. And then the other thing is taking chances. Wolves, there weren't many chances to take. We were dreadful that day. But last week against Everton, we created enough chances to kill that game, didn't. During the week here, created enough chance to, finish off that game, against... I've forgotten how this... Palace. Oh my God! Right, we didn't take it. They've last minute goal. Got to take our chances, and we've got to stop conceding late, haven't we?
Look, we've got to take the chances to start with, because even if you do concede late, and that's an issue because defensively maybe we've got a few players out at the moment, at least you're winning games still. You might win 3-1, you might win 4-2, right? But when I look at the scenario of us in the front of goal at the moment, there is an issue in the attack at Arsenal. And look, it's not massive because we're still top. We're still top of the Champions League and we're in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. If I'm honest with you, Robbie, if you'd have given me that at Christmas, I'd have actually bitten your hand off, right? So it's not massive disaster at the moment. It's no crisis. It's not point like that. But in front of goal, there is an issue at the moment. And only scoring those sort of goals. We've got an own goal last night. We've got 2 own goals against Wolves. We obviously got a penalty against Everton. We're not doing much from open play at the moment, but we are creating. So it's not like we've got nothing at all. Because against Wolves, it was worrying. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you said, there was nothing. But actually, in the last couple of games against Everton, Trossard's hit the post. Saka should have done better with his chance. They both know that. Last night, Madueke, I don't know how he didn't score. He had a couple of chances. Jesus, brilliant goalkeeping from Palace, it has to be said. But I must say, I thought we should have been quite comfortable in most of those games. And we haven't been. And when you're not scoring and it's only one, you know that it's never safe because anyone can score. It takes a second to score a goal, and all of a sudden you see yourself at penalties, or you see yourself struggling against Wolves at home when you shouldn't be. So I look at the team, the players at the moment who should be clinical. Trossard, I think, is probably still one of our most clinical, if I'm honest with you. I think I need to see more from the players in and around him. Jesus, Gyökeres, Marino, Saka, Madueke, whoever it be, Martinelli. They're players that have got a lot of talent, so I need to see them banging in goal, man.
Yeah, listen, obviously we had a game the other night. This is a busy Christmas period, so this is when managers of all clubs rotate. Do you think the manager will rotate? Made 8 changes the other night. What sort of team do you think he's going to put out for this game? Because remember, a few days after that, another tough game against Aston Villa.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to go for a strong team. Hence why he made the changes the other night. I think okay.
I mean, there's not a lot he can do with the defence because of injuries. So it'd be a similar sort of defence you'd have thought, unless Nkapie comes back in.
Yeah. I think the back line, like you said, I think the back line is probably the only stable side right now in terms
Can I ask you this question? If Nkapie is back, would you leave Calafiori in at centre back, because he actually had a very good game as centre back?
No, I wouldn't.
You would?
No, I wouldn't. I think he offers a lot on the left. I think inverting as well, and his attacking side. I wouldn't. I think we'll lose, sort of similar to Timber when Timber was centre back. We lost everything on that side when on the right side.
You got Lewis Skelly, who came in and did all right in a position.
I think what Arteta's going with this season is height. You know, if we see how dominant we've been in both boxes, and I think we lose that when Skelly comes in. And Skelly's fantastic. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but his physical aerial presence isn't there, and that's why I think Calafiori's probably benefited more. But I think honestly, like, I wouldn't put Calafiori in the middle. I would have him where he's been all season, and let him bomb on.
You disagree with that?
I do. I'm not going to say I hugely disagree, but the reason I would do it, and I'll tell you why quickly, is because I'm a big fan of Miles Lewis Skelly. Right, let's have it right. I'm a big fan of him, but I do see his future as more of a box-to-box midfielder. And I think at left back, for me, if Nkapie's back, if he's not, you've got to play Lewis Skelly there, right? But if Nkapie is back, I actually would play Nkapie at left back, and I'd have Calafiori in the middle. And I'll tell you why. I think Mateta is a beast, an animal, horrible to play against, and I thought you got eaten up by Saliba and Calafiori. And if you can do that against him, you're going to do well together against any centre forward in the Premier League. So I'd like to see that partnership while Gabriel is out. I'd like to see it blossom. I like Calafiori at left back. I agree with Strix. I think he's very good there, and I think he's been one of probably our most improved player this season. I think he's been excellent, right? Timber, elite right back. I think Calafiori's great at left back. When Gabriel is back, absolutely. But right now, I'd be playing Calafiori and Saliba as the pair, and I like Nkapie.
But at this stage of the season, though, would you risk that?
Why do you think it's a risk, though?
It's because it's different. That's why I think
it's good sometimes. It was good last night.
I mean, last night there was a lot of changes, but I just think in the Premier League, do you really want to destabilise that left side? You know, helps us a lot. You know, we talk about Trossard on that side, and you know, it's one of our assets. Do you really want to? I hear what you're saying.
Is what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying, but I think the example for me is when Timber came in at centre back. We lost a lot on that right side.
Because Timber's so good as a right back. There's no one, in my opinion, that goes anywhere near that level. I don't think Calafiori and Nkapie and Lewis Skelly right now. I think Calafiori's holding down that left back. I wouldn't say you take Calafiori out. I think Nkapie has done a very good job there. And to be fair, he did a very good job there for Leverkusen. So I don't think it'll be a massive weak thing. I think it's a good decision for Mikel Arteta.
I'm presuming we're all going to go with it. You know, a midfield's probably going to be Odegaard coming back in, Zubimendi, of course, who was completely rested, and then of course Rice, who only came on just at the end of that game. But what do you guys do up front? That front three, Martinelli. Listen, he picked up a little. Might be available for this game, but he was so impressive the other night. Absolutely electric in the game. You got Trossard, who's back now. Gyökeres is back. You've actually got options for once, because in recent weeks there was nothing really option-wise up front. You got Madueke and Saka, and Jesus. What do you do up front?
Up front's a really interesting one because there's no one holding down that position right now. So you could go rogue and go, do you know what? I can't decide between Trossard and Martinelli, so I'm going to play both of them.
Trossard, of course, his old club.
Trossard, old club. Martinelli.
Play both of them.
Well, maybe you could put one of them through the middle. Maybe you go with Trossard through the middle, Martinelli through the middle. You could go rogue and do that. I think he's going to go with Gyökeres, if I'm honest.
Would you?
Old club as well.
Yeah.
Gyökeres, if you remember.
Back in the day, yeah.
Would I? I think I would. I think I probably would, because I feel like we've got to stick with this guy and we've got to give him some confidence. I think he needs the confidence. If we're bidding him out of the team since he's come back from injury, I don't think it's going to do him very good. But I do think the system works best, and I've got to be honest with you, with Mourinho up front. I think the way I've been seeing Mourinho playing against the Spurs and Bayern Munich, I look back to that. That's the last time I saw Arsenal really destroying teams. So I think it's, again, a very, very difficult decision for Mikel Arteta. And it might be a mad shout to start Martinelli and Trossard. But the last time I saw Trossard going through the middle, it was looking pretty good. And if I'm honest with you, in the times that I've seen Martinelli go through the middle, I'm quite liking that as well. So maybe there's a mad one there. I don't know. Maybe it's a mad shout.
A lot of risk there, Dad. You know,
A lot of risk.
Well, is it a risk? I don't know. I'll rate Martinelli. I like Trossard.
I hear
don't know if
it.
it's a mad risk.
I hear it. But
What are you doing?
For me, I'm sticking with. I think the good thing is having options. 'Cause options then allows you to make changes if you need to. So you know, if it's not working, you switch it up.
Do you think it's been working though? The last 3. That's what I'm saying. Is there a time for a bit of a chop and change? I don't know.
Then I think
we
yesterday.
just stick with it?
I think yesterday would have been a time to do that. You know, but I don't think like in a Premier League game where right now you can't even fart, bro. Like it's so tight. I would agree with you in terms of like Gyökeres. I think getting his confidence back up. Listen, we've paid how much for him? We have huge expectations for him against his old club. So surely he might have a little incentive right there to announce himself again. On the right side, I mean Saka. I'm not mad if Madueke comes in. I'm not mad at it. I think the left side is interesting because Martinelli did have a good game. But we'll also have to be honest and say like Trossard is probably our best starter on that side. Martinelli's proven to be a great sub as well. So it might be a case of like going with what we know, what we've been doing in Champions League, for instance. Bringing Martinelli if it's not working, take Trossard.
What's the key to this game, guys? The key to winning this game, for turning this, as you said, from another one of them draws that we did last season into a victory. What is the key?
Dominance in midfield. I think you've got to win the midfield battle, and I've got confidence that Rice and Zubimendi can do that if they both start. But the one player I'm going to be putting some pressure on is our captain, because I do believe that Martin Odegaard of late has been pressing, and I think that's great, but I need to see him delivering.
Creative.
I want to see Martin Odegaard that I know I can see.
Yeah.
The one in 2023 that everyone was saying could walk into team of the season, I think did 2 years in a row. I haven't seen that Martin for a while. And if I'm honest with you, we can talk about injuries and the fact that he hasn't been able to get going, but it's time to get going now.
Why is that? Why do you think? Obviously, we know he's got the talent. Like you said, he's done it a few seasons back. But what's happened to his game?
Well, it has been a bit stop-start for him, hasn't it? Like even this season, the shoulder injury, then he was out, then he came back, they got it again, then he was out for an extended period. He's only really just come back recently in the last few games and hasn't always started all those games either. He's still kind of finding his feet, but to your point, he's had a few games now, so he should have found his feet by now, and now you're expecting those big performances.
Yeah, like for me, is what I'm not seeing from him is his basic, the basic passes. I think he's become so safe. Like Martin Odegaard of recent, balls in behind, precision right onto players to run into. We're not seeing enough of that. We said earlier, Gyökeres is making those runs. Even Martinelli, when he's playing, is making them runs. And for some reason, he goes sideways. He doesn't want to thread the ball behind defenders. I don't quite understand what that's about. And that's probably my biggest annoyance with Martin Odegaard, and on top of the shooting as well. He gets in really good shooting positions and often doesn't shoot. And when he does shoot, nothing comes off of it.
I think he's a frustrating player to watch a little bit at the moment because his decision making isn't quite what it used to be.
Yeah.
I think, like Stricto said, some of those lofts over the top, it drives me insane. Like, I've seen some free flowing passes and some weighted passes and some vision from Odegaard over the years, and that's kind of dropped off a bit. And I think for me, when you're looking at him, he's slowing the game down a bit too much for my liking. And I think what needs to happen now is that free flowing. And look, 22-23, he got 15 goals, so it's there. He can do it. I need to see it consistently now.
Okay, well, listen, guys, big game, and for everybody, if you want to find out more about Brighton, make sure you check out Marty's doing his box to box where he's talking to a Brighton fan. Brighton fan will be able to give you a big rundown. It's always great to hear from their fans about their key players, and they got some really good players in that team, so make sure you check that out. But guys, this is a big game. It could be, by the time we get here at 3 o'clock on Saturday, that City are top again, right? Because they're away at Nottingham Forest. Predictions. Give us your predictions for this game. We'll go with you first, Stricto.
I mean, there's a lot I'm taking from the game against Crystal Palace. It was very free-flowing, very intentional. Of course, we didn't get the finishes that we wanted, but just taking all of that, and I think in a game against Brighton with all that's expected from us, and we always seem to concede these days. So I'll probably say like a 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I hope Stricto's right. I'm going to go 1-0 to the Arsenal again. I think we'll keep another clean sheet.
Oh, I can't do that.
I know, I
Cannot do
agree
that
with you,
1-0.
but
Last
what I'm
minute goal
saying-
incoming.
I hope it isn't. I hope it's a convincing 1-0 if that does exist. But I do believe that it will be a 1-0 game. I hope that it's more goals in it because I want to see some more goals.
Yeah.
I'm just not seeing the goals at the moment from Arsenal. But I do
It'd be
think we'll win
great
the
to
game.
put a performance in because we
would.
then got Villa coming up after this.
Exactly that. You want to scare Villa a bit as well after what happened last year. It wasn't long ago we played them either.
Yeah.
So you want to be scaring them. So a 1-0 might not do that. I'd love a convincing 3-0 where I really would. I'd love it. It would give me a great Christmas gift. But I do personally believe it would be 1-0 to the Arsenal, so I'll stick with that.
Okay, well, listen, guys, love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments. Give us your predictions for what the game's going to be. Also, of course, we'll be covering it here on AFTV. We're doing a special thing on Saturday. We're going to be doing a little op-along earlier on where we'll be watching the Man City game because obviously it's going to have a lot of relevance to what we're doing. They are all season. So they're playing at 12:30. We'll be doing a little watch-along to that and then following it up with our watch-along on AFTV, so make sure you check that out on Saturday. Of course, I'll be at the game speaking to all the fans after it. We can check out Dan and Stricto's channel as well. They've got some great content on it. Listen, huge game for Arsenal, big Christmas period. If they can get a win here, this will set them in good stead going into the new year.